and welcome to the second Sunday show. I'm the Casual Engineer and welcome to my afternoon show. I'm going to go through a guy called Brian's logic. Please let me know if the sound isn't good. I'll be very interested to know if that's not right. Okay, chat's going to be fun because the panel is not big enough. Get that a bit better. Okay, there we go. Now I can actually see Peter Knottle at the bottom there. Hey Peter, how are you going? All right, so back to Brian. The fellow's been quintupling down, I think that's the right word, and given us 5 videos on why GPS will not work. And it's kind of interesting hearing what he has to say. So let me work my way through all my little pieces. Here we go. Chrome share will do. Okay, just going to transition over to the whiteboard so we can have a bit of a look at what's going on there. I have changed my layout a bit, which is why I'm no longer trying to look at the camera or looking around it. I'm actually screen here, camera there, and it seems to be working a lot better for me as well. Let me know if the volume is not enough because I'm more than happy to crank it up a bit further. Right, let's have a look. We have in multiple videos, he starts off thinking that this diagram is an accurate representation. Calls the spaces that you can see around here a spherical cap, which is such a strange term. It doesn't exist in most other tech details. He's missed a couple of really important points. Let's go have a look at this. Very quickly draw a line. The coverage area actually includes something that starts from around about here. And I know this is not a straight line and goes up until it reaches the satellite. And if anything is in flight, so again, this doesn't have straight lines in it, so it's not going to look great. You have anything that's up inside this space here, it's going to receive it anyway. So the coverage area is not this. That's the first thing. Secondary thing, you've already been told subsatellite point is not a term used in this. This random point, well, yeah, okay. It's supposed to be the position of a receiver. But this is not what's supposed to be going on here at all. So, Brian, I think you really let yourself down by making up terminology and pretending that you've got this expertise. Let's go to the next one. Started to talk about how it works, and a slight modification, you decided to add this by claiming that the GPS mirrors its location. Well, this is unknown, and this is unknown. How will mirroring help you? You don't have the known values you're claiming you need. It doesn't measure an azimuth from north. We already established in my previous video there was no such thing as a compass in these systems. They work very differently to what you were saying. So let's have a bit of a look at just what happens with Brian and how this has all come together. Swipe onto that one. And what have we got? We have got a GPS video he's written, and if you look down at the comments section, you can see a few pretty pertinent questions. Professor Phil pointed out, what are you going to say when it's proved a 24-hour sun over? I'm going to boost this up. That is way too small. And then Wally steps in with a couple of questions. Doesn't really get a reply anyway. Further along we get oxidized tool, and I think this is a very good indication. He's actually pointed out that there is a number of manuals which clearly tell you what to do. Mount the antenna on the top. Look at the responses from Brian. Brian thinks that the gentleman doesn't have a clue. And come again, back and forth. And when you get down to it, Brian doesn't really care what you say. He doesn't need evidence. It's just, he just thinks that's how it works. And 5 videos later, there's one thing that I'm going to call out on this. I placed a comment on here, and I did point out that there were GPS projects in motion everywhere, and these GPS projects were basically home built. Now, I'm just going to go back to one of those right now. So it's pretty important. Peter just made a comment about GPS doesn't work. That's right, it doesn't work according to Brian. So he's now tried to project this onto the celestial sphere, and the celestial sphere was just the way we identify where stars were in the sky. The problem with the celestial sphere, if you want to talk about this one, it doesn't take into account the distance. So it's only basically two-dimensional sphere around us, which is great for saying from here to here, that angle, and there to there, that angle. Doesn't work when you start saying how deep it is. That's celestial sphere is only really for finding things. You have a close look at the celestial sphere, you know some of those stars move around. So it's quite interesting watching this just continue, this whole argument. So my complaint though, when I have a look at my own channel in community, I brought it up here. I actually stated that there's an example and that wouldn't post. Now, I could be wrong. It could be the YouTube algorithm deciding I was trying to sneak one in and removing it. But Brian, if you remove that, then you don't want your followers to see an actual project that doesn't have a compass in it. And kind of tells me a few things if that's the case. Right? You might want to do a video and come back and give me a response about that one. Eh? So back to Brian's lovely bit of work. This has all been debunked by other people. We've got a claim that we somehow get a 90-degree angle curve, 90-degree angle out of a triangle he's tried to build, and yet the original lines don't match up. So he's made up a lot of this trigonometry of his own. He's simply gone down the path. And I like this one. He's actually used the spherical explanation, then tried to say, that's right, but anyone notice anything funny? I see 4 spheres around 4 satellites, yet there's only 3 here. And the very next diagram, he grabs it and says, oh, but, it's only 3 like this. Then he moves to the next one and he starts trying to tell us that's all on the flat plane. I've got some bad news for him. That would work whether you're in 2D space or 3D space. It also works, oddly enough, outside of this. So let me just go back to my whiteboard and let's draw a couple of ideas up. Everyone's explaining to the gentleman that we could simply find something anywhere in 3D space because we've got a reference point at the center. We could have something out here, GPS receiving as well, and the signal from this one, and this one would be received by this one, and instead of the spheres being down here on the surface of the Earth where they'll cross over and give us an indication where we are, 3 spheres now crossing over each other in 3D space. Well, that's interesting. If you can receive a signal in space, then come up with a position based on that, including the altitude, that means we can use this to track other satellites, we can track spaceships, we can track other things that have receivers on them. So if we put receivers on large asteroids and kept track and had a strong enough system, we could even track our asteroids around. We don't use this for asteroid tracking though. I think that's part of a much bigger and probably a substantially more expensive project. So Brian, I've had a little think about all of these. You just kept going down the no, that's not how it works, and denied everything. So it's sort of become time for me to say this is what it's going to look like. It's interesting. What's this thing just done? Just watch the way this has just jumped a Chrome share. I wasn't expecting to put up there, but in any case, here's the Chrome share, and let's have a look at this one.
You're a legend in your own mind.
And I think this one kind of covers it as well. And finally, of course, I couldn't help myself.
If you're in trouble, trouble, he will save the day. He's brave and he's fearless, come what may. Without him the mission would go astray. He's Arnold, Arnold, Arnold Rimmer. Without him life would be much grimmer. He's handsome, trim, and no one slimmer. He will never need a Zimmer. He's Arnold, Arnold, Arnold Rimmer.
Oh well, now that we've done that to him, it's probably time to consider where we're going to go next. Basically, Brian, I don't believe anything you've said. You haven't produced anything from the electronics packages. You haven't shown any manuals. You just said they've all got it wrong. Unfortunately, you left yourself open to being mocked pretty badly because, let's face it, the shoe did fit, and now you've really worn it. Okay, folks, that's it. I'm done. It was only meant to be a very short one right now just to get this out of the road. Thank you all very much for watching, and if you've got any comments, please put them in the comments below, or if you're on live chat with me, say hello. Okay, guys, thanks very much. Have a good one.